Tonight is Monday, November 20th, and this is the regular meeting of the Knox County Commission. This will be our voting meeting tonight. Madam Chair, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy. Commissioner Durrett. Here. Commissioner Oster. Here. Commissioner Ward.
Here.
Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Lee. Here. Commissioner Beeler.
Here.
Commissioner Daly.
Here.
Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
Thank you. Also joining me on the podium to my left from the clerk's office is Haley Evans and Kim Ellis. And to my right next to Ms. Oster is Mike Moriers, one of our law directors. Are there any elected officials in the audience?
The mayor, the sheriff, Justin Biggs.
Thank you. I understand that our mayor is here. Thank you for being here, as always. Sheriff Spangler, thank you. Nick McBride is here. Are there any others? And Trustee Biggs, Justin Biggs. Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. We always appreciate you coming and listening and being a part of our meetings. Our devotional tonight will be by Commissioner Ward.
Thank you, Chair. This is most likely going to be my last devotional for my political career. So typically, I would call my priest for my devotionals and talk to him. And I usually go to Proverbs. It's one of my favorite books. Unfortunately, last Sunday, he died. He was a really amazing person. He was only 65. He's my father's best friend. He was my uncle. I've known him for 30 years, and he married my wife and myself. So it was tough, getting this assignment on a week when I couldn't turn to him anymore. So it was sad, but at the same time, he worked his whole life for God, and now he gets to go home. And, you go through all the emotions of sad and angry, and but at the end of the day, I have to be happy. I'm selfishly sad for myself because I don't get to see him anymore, but, one day, hopefully I will again. So I don't really have a verse to give tonight, but I just want everybody to remember that, life is precious. I've learned this lesson too many times, unfortunately, and lost too many people at a young age, I feel like, but it is very precious. And, this here is a job, it's a service. We could all probably be a little nicer to each other, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more patient. So when you go home tonight, make sure you tell the people that you love them. And make sure you smile when you see people in the hallways. And make sure you ask people how they're doing. Just be nicer to each other is my message for tonight. I'd like to personally thank Dr. Daisha for reaching out to me over this last month. I'd also like to thank Larson for reaching out to me over this last month. I'd like to thank Richie when he saw me, give me a hug. You don't always realize what everybody's going through. I sat here last Monday. Nobody knew this happened, but those little things, the how you're doing, the hug, that what's going on, sometimes really does make a big difference in somebody's life, whether you realize it or not. So saying that, just please be nice to each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward. We'll move forward with our Pledge of Allegiance led tonight by Commissioner Lee.
Please stand and salute our flag. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to amendments to the agenda. These items have been added, 17, 27, and 32. Deferrals, which are marked, are 43, 48, 50, and 55. We've had withdrawals of 41 and 58. And our non-consents tonight, 36, 37, 40, 42, 44 through 47, 49, and 51. Again, non-consent, 36, 37, 40, 42, 44 through 47, 49, and 51. Are there any questions or comments? Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have just two things. One, I'd like to request a roll call vote from the clerk's office from item number 42. And I would like to add a discussion item this evening concerning documents like this that we receive prior to the commission meeting from individuals with no identification marks or what company sent it or whatever. Thank you.
All right, so without objection, we will make item 42 a roll call, and we will add a discussion item at the end of our regular meeting tonight on unidentified written information. Seeing no other lights, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Frazier, second by Jay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'm also looking for a motion to approve the government and educational consent calendar.
So moved.
Motion to approve the general government and education consent calendars.
Thank you. Motion by
Second.
Beeler, second by Frazier. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. G, presentations.
Item number 32 is presentation of a proclamation by the Knox County Mayor to Commissioner Carson Daly for his service to our community and receiving the TCCA Ralph Puckett Award for winning County Commissioner of the Year of East Tennessee.
Thank you. And this is sponsored by our county mayor. If you'd like to come forward.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Just wanted to recognize Commissioner Daly for the outstanding work.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
If you
everything
could give
do,
me
sir.
your name and,
I'm sorry, Len Jacobs, Knox County Mayor, 400 Main Street.
thank you, sir.
My apologies. But we just wanted to recognize Commissioner Daly for this award and appreciate everything that he does for Knox County. So,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Daly, do you have a few words?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Appreciate the mayor for this honor, that's for sure. And there's three people I really want to thank. I first got elected. I guess I was elected, but I hadn't been sworn in. Charlie Bustler, former commissioner, Commissioner Schoonmaker, come to me and said, hey, you need to come with us down to the county TCCA meeting, and I think that first one was in Nashville. And so I went down and fell in love with the process and how things go, and got elected to a couple of positions and everything. But then I met Mr. Vanderbeek, wherever he is. Mr. Vanderbeek was down there, and he goes, I can remember this, and I think John was sitting there with me. He said, I am so glad to see you guys. He said, a lot of times I was the only one present, and we're Knox County. And I am proud to say that this past October, there was 9 of us, is that correct? Or 9 of us were down in Chattanooga, so it's an honor, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Want to take a picture? Madam Chair, did we want to get a picture with Commission and
Certainly.
Commissioner Daly?
I would be remiss before we move forward, if I didn't also recognize another group we have here tonight, and it's my failure to do that, and I apologize. I believe it's our Knox County Youth Health Council that have come here tonight, and part of their internship is that they attend a meeting. So please stand up and let us all look at you, and these are some of our finest high school students. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item number 33 is presentation on Knox County Sheriff's Office recruitment and retention efforts.
Commissioner Jay, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we welcome the sheriff down, I see some potential junior commissioner applicants potentially in this group over here. So
I already plugged them.
I'm happy to welcome Sheriff Spangler. I asked him after many of our efforts this summer, which you all supported in our last budget and our mayor spearheaded, want to make sure anytime we lean in and work hard on an investment, we want to make sure that it's working. And so I asked the sheriff how his recruitment, retention efforts, and our workforce within our law enforcement team doing, and happy to invite you here to give us a little report. Thank you, Sheriff Spangler.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commission. Tom Spangler, Knox County Sheriff, 400 Main Avenue. You were handed out a few pages there by Amanda Kitts and Ann Suter, both in our Human Resource Office. So don't get into those too heavy yet. So it's like kids, you have to hand something out. They won't start looking at it. They won't start. I want to go over a few things, and then we'll talk about those as well, and some other things. And obviously, I'm sure you may have some questions. And as Amanda and Ann both were up here, if you have any questions that I can't answer, that's why they're here, because what is that saying? Behind every man, there's a good woman. Those two right there have been exceptional, helping out and doing anything and everything and taking charge of this, and I'm so grateful for them. So I have to give accolades to both of them for the work that they've done and the work that they have been able to do with our Merit Council as well. So things have been going very well. The Sheriff's Office, we revamped our recruiting initiative by launching what was called Join KCSO website and creating a mentorship program. What that meant was when somebody was interested and they went online and signed up for that, we had mentors signed up, employees, that they could contact, and that mentor would guide them through the process of what they needed to do, how they needed to do it, and they stayed with them all the way through that process and getting them started with our human resources and getting the applications done and things such as that. We received over 960 employment inquiries through the website. These employment inquiries were assigned to KCSO mentor teams, and it moved on from there. The team consisted of 52 individuals with different classifications such as law enforcement, corrections, civilians. It didn't matter. We weren't looking for any specific, but obviously we were looking for corrections and law enforcement. Then we had many civilian positions, so we made sure that all entities were covered. They personally assisted that applicant through the hiring process and the recruiting team, and that attends to the local job fairs. We attended the local job fairs and military job fairs throughout the county and state. This, combined with KCSO and the merit system working together, has allowed us to hire 190 individuals to date, with the exception of hiring 200 plus by the end of this year. We also have a recruiting budget of $50,000, and I think we've pretty much expended that already. So, but it's been a good thing for us to go through as well, and I think it's been money well spent. To kind of give you just a little bit more, our third quarter 40% increase is due to the county commission, due to you all approving the pay increase. I don't believe any of this would have been possible if you all hadn't stepped up, and I am standing in here in front of you today to say thank you to each and every one of you for giving us this opportunity, and the men and women of the Knox County Sheriff's Office, a salary that I think that the majority is happy with and will continue working on as well. The starting salary, obviously, for correctional officers before July increase was $39,471.55. After July pay increase, that starting salary went to $50,570.94. Patrol officer starting salary before July was $44,814.35. And after that pay raise, it went to $51,978.08. I will tell you this, I have been to one TSA, that's the Tennessee Sheriff's Association meeting since then, and I will say that I had many of the 95 sheriffs that were there. I take that back. Of the 95 sheriffs across the state, 82 were there, and they wanted to know how we got it done. And I'll say this, my commission and my mayor's office was gracious and grateful with the hard work of us, my finance director, Allison Rogers, and Chris Caldwell, and we made it happen. But there was a lot of work that went into it, but I was very adamant in making sure that they knew that this county commission was supportive of that. Because of the influx of applicants in our third quarter, we have our psychological provider added another psychologist. That's how busy we got. We had to add on another psychologist to make sure that we could get people through the process a little bit faster. And you'll see one of those pages that you have there will give you an idea of how the process is. It was taking anywhere from 45 to 50 days or so. Now we've got that cut down to 30 days, and I think you'll see that within there, and it's made a huge difference for us. So very grateful for our staff in our Human Resources Office. Here's the number I think everybody's interested in, and it's going to be a little bit of an explanation. Currently, we have, get this now, we have 7 corrections and 16 patrol officer vacancies available to offer for employment. What that means is we already have people in the process right now that have already been offered. And depending on where they are in the process, right now we only have those positions available to offer to somebody else outside of those. That is telling an awful lot. Now, am I happy with this? I'm happy with it. Am I ecstatic? No, because I want to see it full. And I think any CEO, anybody that owns a business wants to see their employment where it should be, and that's where I want to be. the 16 patrol officers, that's patrol law enforcement. That could involve people in our courts, and uniformed bodies is what that is. So it kind of gives you an idea there. We have 33 applicants currently going through the hiring process. So that's where the that 7 and 16 number, if all of those 33 go or are accepted, then that's all we have left to be able to offer. I did tell the mayor, and I think I don't remember if I come to this body whenever we approved, you all approved the pay raise. We gave up 28 corrections positions, and I told them I may have to come back. I hope that I do. You probably hope that I don't, but I hope that I do, just for the fact that it shows what's happening and what's caused because of what you all are approving with this pay raise. Those 33 applicants currently going through the hire process, 23 of those are corrections, 6 are patrol, and 4 support staff. That could be people within our records division or anywhere else in our civilian area. Together, the Knox County Sheriff's Office and the merit system work diligently to bring the most qualified applicants to fill our current vacancies. This has been a team effort with the Sheriff's Office and with the Merit Council. I'm very proud of both of the entities, the way they've worked well, and to make sure that this has been very successful. And I also want to thank the recruiting team, our mentors, and the men and women that have been out here promoting the agency on a daily basis. So with that being said, kind of give you an idea on our retention. As of November of this year, our exit data consists of a total of 115 employees that have retired, resigned, unfortunately terminated, or left for personal reasons, compared to 22, with that total number being 185, which is a 60% decrease from last year. It's made a big difference. One of the things that I know, it was a little bit of a contention and me begging you all to drop our age to 18. I have had 13 applicants, 18-year-olds, that have applied. So far, we've hired 5 18-year-olds. So that means a lot to me, and it means a lot that you all, you were concerned enough, but yet you were also allowing me to be able to go out here and hire those individuals that really want to come into this profession. I'm very grateful for that, so thank you all for that. We've also had 12 employees come back to work that have rehired, and this is their statement, is because of the pay raise. If I can get them back, if I can get that experience back, I'm going to take them. Just to kind of give you an idea too, with all this, what I consider good news, the part of the downside would be come between now and the end of December, I have 10 people retiring. Now, there's nothing I can do about people who have 25, 30 plus years that decided that this has been enough for them. But this is the step that we have to be able to fill the positions of getting people in a command supervisory role. And we've got to get those individuals that experience. So this is a good start for that. So what I'll do right now, if you all will allow me to do so, the hiring process form that you have in front of you, kind of, again, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It gives you an idea of where we are once a person comes into contact with us and that applicant is interviewed. That's where we are today and how things are moving along, just to kind of give you an idea how long it takes us to get them through the process. That's one of the reasons why we've had to hire another psychologist to do our psychologicals to help move that along and expedite that situation as well. So if you have any questions, we'll go over that. The next form, and I'm sure I'm going to have to call the 2 ladies up here. They can explain this. Our total number of applicants, you see there in front of you on the one chart that has the more, what is it?
Colorful.
Brown color. Thank you very much. There you go. Kind of gives you a breakdown, and it gives you one of the things I think too people are concerned with. Well, why did they not make it through the process? Over on the right-hand column, you see those definitions of why they didn't make it, whether it didn't make it through us as the Knox County Sheriff's Office or through the Merit Council. And if they don't make it through the merit council, they don't make it to us, period. It doesn't get to us. So those failures from the merit council could be anything from a no-show assessment testing, false application, which they either held something back or didn't want us to know about or something. Their criminal history didn't pass through the merit council's regulations as well. And obviously, if it does make it to us, then there's reasons up there why they may not have passed our interview process, if you will, as far as a failed background, failed drug test. When we give somebody an offer of condition, that means that, okay, you're going through the process now. We're going to go ahead and give you a psychological, a physical, things such as that, but that is contingent on you passing that for that offer. So we don't just hire them, put them to work, and then do all this later. We'd be out of so much money, and then we'd be in trouble, and I'd be in trouble from you all. But we're moving these things quite along. So the the next piece of paper that you have there in front of you, the exit data breakdown, kind of gives you an idea, I think, which is a number that I talked about with retention as well. Kind of gives you reasons of why they left. And we offer an exit interview to everybody, but not everybody will fulfill that process. So if you all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And if I can't answer it, I've got two young ladies that can. So again, let me reiterate, I'm very thankful. I stand up here in front of you and say thank you to each and every one of you for allowing us to continue within the sheriff's office to have a salary for these men and women that really meant a lot to them. It meant a lot to me to make sure that we got that for them. And a lot of times, you know, we as elected office holders, we get up here and ask for a lot of things, but I thought it was very important for this community for this to happen, and you all stepped up, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff Spangler. Are there any comments or questions? Commissioner Oster?
I don't think I really, I'm sorry. I don't think I have a question. I just want to make a statement to you. These numbers are great, and I think we're definitely leading in the right direction, so I'm really happy about that. You know, I've had to reach out to you numerous times in the last month or so with things in my district, and I really don't think people think about all the work that you guys have to do for neighborhood parking issues to, you know, very dangerous issues. And so I just wanted to be able to have this opportunity to thank you. I've done that privately, but I wanted to do that publicly. You've had a rough couple of months, and so has your department. And I just want to thank you all for the job that you do, and for always being there for me anyways, to answer my calls and take care of my questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no other lights, thank you. Thank you so much. That was a great report.
Thank you. Can I end with this? And I do want to say
Certainly.
thank you, Commission, for your all's support in the loss of our officer Tucker Blakely. I'm very honored that this community stepped up the way that they have, and I said I wasn't going to be this way. I'm honored to be leading this agency, but to have lost one of my people is very hard, but I'm thankful for this community, and I'm thankful for this council or committee for their support and their love for this agency, and we'll continue to do the job. And I'm not going to walk away from here without recognizing the three that come with me tonight. Allison Rogers, I think all of you know that, as hard as she worked with me on this budget, and Amanda and Ann that are sitting back there from my Human Resource Office. They've been very instrumental in putting this together, and I'm very grateful for the work that they've been doing to make sure that our potential applicants are getting the assistance that they need and making sure we get people hired for this community. So thank you. I didn't mean to ramble. Thank you.
You're fine. Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is public forum. This is 4 agenda items only, and the first person I have down is Stephanie Nichols. Stephanie, if you'd state your name and county of residence, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Nichols. I'm a lifelong resident of Knox County. I was raised in the Dole community and now reside with my family on the farm that adjoins both sides of the old Dandridge Stagecoach proposed road closure. We've lived there for a little over a decade, and you may ask why this proposed road closure is now coming or being asked to the commission. Well, actually, the Lang family, unfortunately, a member of their family was sick, and she sold the last 9 acres that allowed us to adjoin our farm to Old Dandridge Stagecoach. The Pierce family, which is the second family that's listed on the proposal, they bought a home at the end of Old Dandridge Stagecoach, which was the Lane's home. And at that home, they thought they were moving into a quiet, tranquil East Knox County piece of property. And it's been anything but. And I'm going to list a few things, which we'd like to tell the Knox County Sheriff thank you, because they've had to assist in a lot of them over the years. But the first year that we built our home on the farm, we had over 42 trespassers that used this road to access our farm. Now, that as awful as that sounds, it was actually quite innocent. It was hunters, fathers, uncles, generational hunting. The past 2 years have not been so innocent. There was an incident where another neighbor asked why people were trespassing, which resulted in shots fired into the ground. There has been numerous individuals from East Knox County area that use this dead-end road as a shooting range. If we're lucky, they're shooting into the rock bank. If not, just like 3 weeks ago, they shot towards my residence with my teenagers outside in the field. People are very open with why they pull down there, maybe to do smoke, and I'm not talking cigarettes or other drugs. You can go down there and find baggies, drug paraphernalia, condoms, and other things. So both the Nichols and the Pierce family, we'd like to express our gratitude for your consideration on the Old Dandridge Road closure. And also, due to escalating security reasons, we feel that the closure is imperative for not only our well-being and the safety of the individuals who live on Old Dandridge Stagecoach, but as well as the East Knoxville community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Keith Brett. Keith, you have signed up for 2 matters on the agenda, and these 2 combined, I will allow you a total of 6 minutes to speak. If you introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Keith Britt, 506 Knowlton Drive. I will be striking my comments from item number 11, so I'll just be speaking to one item tonight. I have struggled with the prospect of this ambulance contract for the last week. At your last work session, I urged you to pass it because this contract, while completely unsatisfactory, is better than no contract at all. I've tried to put myself in your shoes, and I think about my first and foremost responsibility being a father to my children. And I take parenting very seriously, and I live by a 3-part code. And one of those codes is I have to set the example for the people I want my children to become. Now, in terms of this ambulance contract, what example are we going to be setting if we approve a contract with a provider that has a long history of failure? A provider that hasn't even come close to showing that it can satisfy the very lax standards in this proposed contract. A provider that is likely depending on fee and penalty waivers like it has done over and over again for the last $8 million. A provider that has demonstrated in other communities that if it finds it to be a profitable decision, they will abandon Knox County. What does a yes vote mean? It means that we've let somebody push us around. It means that we don't believe in ourselves enough to stand up and do the moral thing. It means that becoming a coward, while undesirable, is acceptable. What would a no vote mean? It would mean that we have standards and we're not willing to lower them because our standards literally mean the difference between life and death for a lot of our citizens. It would mean that while it may set a lump in our throat, We have the confidence, we have the faith that in the next 72 days, we can find a solution that doesn't sacrifice the health and welfare of Knox County citizens. I saw the work session, and Mr. Moyers, I heard you shoot down Commissioner Schoonmaker's emergency powers argument, and I don't wholly disagree with you at all. I found your legal footing to be pretty steady. But it can be done. It absolutely can be done. We've won wars in less than 72 days. We've stopped global economic collapse in less than 72 days. I believe in this commission. And if you give yourself the proper motivation, you can get this done. Godspeed.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Constance Every. I notice you also have signed up for 2 agenda items. You'll have a total of 6 minutes. Your name and county of residence, please.
Yeah, my name is Constance Every, Knox County, 37914. So yeah, I'm gonna speak first to the first item, which is item number 31, which was involving the child of Tennessee Department of Children's Services dealing with a juvenile probation officer's pay. But I think there's a greater elephant that needs to be talked about in this particular matter. The Richard Bean Center. As you all should be fully aware of, that the report is rolled out thanks to the big media platform that has revealed that we are dealing with a juvenile detention center that has a leadership who proudly vocated that he's abusing children. I am pleased to hear that the state legislators are stepping up and are actually requesting an investigation into the matter, but this is in Knox County. And so my question is, Knox County, since Tom Spangler was down here and everybody else, what are we doing about it? Because this is in our jurisdiction. And it's concerning because if we know for a fact that if this was a parent, if this was a daycare center, if this was a youth after-school program, youth sports program, any of such natures, anyone else will be charged, sitting in jail right now. The program or whatever it be should be shut down, defunded immediately, and the children will be removed. And yet somehow this man was confident to say, not only was he openly willing to say he treated every child that came in there like a murderer, regardless of what the circumstances may or may not be for them being there, but then he came behind that and said he was making millions of dollars off of it and had no intentions of ever slowing down or stopping. See, when I hear that kind of language by somebody like this type of man, it lets me know that money's funded into our elected officials' pockets. See, he's making a lot of people money to turn their heads and have a blind eye to the matters of these children. And we know by experts that when you have children who are dealing with trauma in this type of manner from a system, the system that they're supposed to be able to trust, the system that we all lean on in our time of need, that this leads to farther greater matters such as them growing up and becoming greater harms and threats to our communities like murderers and child rapists. Let's not forget KPD, child rapists running through the KPD department right now. So that's the concern here. Why are we not addressing the issue? Why are you all taking a blind eye? Which leads me right into the ambulance service, because now we had another report came out that told us that AMR has paid some of our elected officials up here $500. Particularly you, Terry Hill. So you was in the comments there. And you made a statement saying that somehow this money would not influence your vote. Well, if that's the case, then why did you even take the money in the first place? How about that? How about we don't take no money at all, so we don't have to worry about this being a factor coming in here tonight with them on the agenda for a vote of approval of the contract tonight. Which somebody already said before. Y'all don't listen to us. Trust me, we know this as taxpayers and as voters. Y'all do not listen to us. Because if you listen to us, you would know that by now we want an ambulatory service, not just one, but multiple, because people are literally dying waiting for the ambulance. Dying waiting for the ambulance. We're talking about elderly members. We're talking about like 60 and up people. Some of y'all are in that age group. Now think about that. And the irony is that you all are taking money. That's criminal. That's corruption. That says I cannot trust you, and I cannot trust the decisions that you make, nor can I trust the backdoor room deals you're making, because obviously all they got to do is pay you, and they pay for the vote, no matter how crappy, no matter how poorly, no matter how terribly they perform in their job, so-called job descriptions and contractual agreements. So this is the problem. And I start to wonder, what does Charm Allen actually do as a district attorney besides harass black activists? Because it seems like she don't hold her police departments accountable, she don't hold our elected officials accountable, she don't hold the detention centers in her jurisdiction accountable. So what does the woman actually do? This is beyond ridiculous, and it's no better on the city side than it is on the county side. So basically, Knoxville, we just got a bunch of crap leadership going on all around at this point. And everybody acting like we're supposed to pat you on the back. We're supposed to applaud your awards. We're supposed to act like you really done something great. When we got children outside dying, we got homeless people sleeping outside, we got families losing their homes daily through the eviction courts, we have inefficiencies in our education, we have poor public transportation. The list is long, and you all sit up here and waste our money funding to corruptive departments, sit up here and take money on backdoor scenes and behind-the-scenes funding, and then act like somehow we should applaud you. This is hilarious to a certain extent. So I really hope that the state legislature brings in the necessary investigation. I really hope that it brings DOJ in to start bringing some investigations. I really hope you all who are accountable for your failures and your lack of concern, and more importantly, your own corruption, are also held accountable. Because I just can't seem to understand that a child by the name of Andy Thompson Jr. was murdered, and several of you all had nothing but racist bigotry comments to make about him, but then you sit up here taking money for ambulance votes for contracts. And I yield my time.
And that concludes our public forum. Next item, please.
Next item is approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Daley, second by Beeler. Discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 34 is consideration of the acceptance of new county roads. A, Izzy Mule Lane. B, Shilamia Lane. C, Myrtle Ridge Lane. D, Lulu Lizzie Lane. These are all located in Hickory Creek Farms, Unit 2, District 6. E is Hickory Reserve Road. F, Grand Forks Drive. G, Bethel Hollow Drive. H, Silver Chapel Drive. And these are all located in Reserve at Hickory Creek, Unit 2, District 6.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jay, second by Hill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 35 is consideration of the closure of a portion of Old Dandridge Stagecoach Lane located in District 8. The proposed new terminus will be approximately 25 feet northeast of the southernmost intersecting corner between the property now belonging to Pierce, parcel ID 097-168, and property now belonging to Nichols, parcel ID 084-224. This is on first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Beeler, second by Lee. Is there any discussion? Yes, sir, Commissioner Beeler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank the Nichols for coming tonight and really for drawing our attention to this over the past couple months. This obviously was a problem that needed to be addressed, and I just urge my colleagues to pass this on first and second reading as expediently as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to check to make sure Jim Snowden had no issues with this. I can't imagine he would, but do you have any issues with this, sir? He's good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 36, line item transfers, total amount of $2,279,081.37.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jay, second by Schoonmaker. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 37, budget amendments, total amount of $12,717,693.94.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jay, second by Beeler, or Schoonmaker. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is notary applications. There were 122 received.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Durrett, second by Lee. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion approved.
Item number 38, spread of record of the Office of the Clerk and Master for the Knox County Chancery Court Handbook. Item number 39, spread of record travel for the 2023 Tennessee County Services Association, TCSA Fall Conference.
Next item.
Item number 40 is Resolution 305, approving a defined services contract among Knox County, Tennessee, the City of Knoxville, Tennessee, and Young Williams Animal Center of East Tennessee for Young Williams to be delegated and have the authority to furnish animal control enforcement duties as set forth in the city and county charters and ordinances throughout the city and county with the assistance of the Knox County Sheriff's Office and the Knoxville Police Department for enforcement of state law.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Beeler, second by Ward. Do we have any discussion on this? Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Testerman, if you would join us. Probably want to give your name and county for the record, probably.
Janet Testerman, 3201 Division Street, 37919.
Thank you, Ms. Testerman. In taking over the duties for the city and the county when it comes to animal control, do you and your team have a plan for livestock animals?
We do. We currently, first of all, have an MOU with Zoo Knoxville where we have property there. And any livestock that comes to us, if it's not adopted, which a lot of them are fairly quickly adopted out, we have the ability to house them at the property we have at Zoo Knoxville. We also work with other third parties that we work with as well.
Do you have when it comes to livestock, do you have the ability for your, I wouldn't call it, we don't call them officers. What are we calling?
Well, I mean,
Are they officers?
as I kind of said last week, I mean, universally, it's like codes enforcement officer. What
Okay.
I mean, it's.
Do your officers have the ability to handle, pick up, and deal with livestock? I mean, I can remember 3 times this year having heard of, especially in our more rural areas, cows loose on the road, horses down the road, et cetera, goats, et cetera.
We do.
Okay. Do you also and your team have a plan and ability to handle overnight response 24 hours a day, 365?
We will.
And do you have the facilities to support all of this
We do.
and the resources to support all of it?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'm going to vote to approve this tonight because our sheriff and our police chief want it to happen. We've had lots of conversations. I'm not going to relitigate every question I asked you through this process, but I do appreciate that you've always been willing to answer them and walk through it and hear my concerns. I wish you the best. I wish your team the best. I hope you are successful. I think, just for the record, I think you're going to find the agricultural and the livestock part of this job overwhelmingly challenging. I think that the overnight response, the 3 a.m., 2 nasty dogs in the back of a car during a traffic stop, those types of things, especially the nights and weekend stuff, is going to be challenging. I think that you will be back before this commission in a matter of years saying, we're out of space, please buy us a bigger facility, and ask for more money, and I think the budget will continue to balloon, and you'll be back here asking us for more resources. I hope none of those things happen. I hope you're wildly successful. I think they will. That's okay. I'm going to approve it and move forward and wish you the best. I caution that as we go forward, that you have regular communication and that our sheriff and our police chief don't just wash their hands of it and say good luck, but stay focused and make sure that we are serving the people and that your team is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I appreciate that, and I certainly, anticipate earning your confidence. And, we're a 24/7 facility now. We have an on-call team. All the livestock generally comes to us now. And like I say, we have historically worked with third parties We're not reinventing the wheel, and there are shelters all over the country that have absorbed this responsibility. Like I say, I hope and look forward and plan to earning your confidence.
Seeing no other lights, we have a proper motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 42, Resolution 602, approving an EMS ambulance service contract with Rural Metro of Tennessee, LP, doing business as American Medical Response for the provision of emergency medical ambulance services in Knox County.
Do I have a motion? A motion on the floor by Daley, second by Beeler. Is there any discussion? Not yet. Before I call on you, Commissioner Daley, I know that there are some folks that are wanting to speak in the audience, and I know that our mayor had requested a forum. With your permission, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the commission. I'm here to ask for your support for this resolution. If I were on commission, I would vote for this agreement. This is not an extension of the existing contract. It is an entirely new, vastly improved agreement providing much-needed financial and operational stability for the EMS system. Is it perfect? Of course not. We don't live in a perfect world. But what we're proposing is an important step in the right direction. I understand that many of you have legitimate concerns about this recommendation. At the same time, the other options that we've heard and have been suggested are fraught with even more problems if they are even viable at all. The contract offers us a variety of protections, from financial penalties that come straight off the subsidy, all the way to an unrestricted right of cancellation upon 180 days notice. And I urge you, echoing what Commissioner Frazier said last week, to hold the vendor accountable to the contract. And my office will be your partner along the way in that process. AMR has agreed to present a progress report to Commission quarterly, providing you with ongoing status reports straight from the company, as well as the opportunity to ask direct questions. They have also agreed to make numerous improvements and changes. I ask that you trust and respect the procurement process. It was fair, objective, and free from political influences. And I'd like to thank everybody who was part of that. It was a lot of hard work. I cannot overstate the importance of certainty and stability in the EMS system. Since the notice of intent to award was announced, we have seen significant gains in the number of available EMS staff. This reflects that stability in the system. We now routinely see 20 or 25 trucks on the road daily with improved staffing both throughout the week and on weekends. All of this could be thrown into disarray depending on what this body does here this evening. Knox County is a big operation, and despite recent challenges, things do work relatively well. In 2022, AMR answered an average of 175 calls a day. In 2023, they're answering an average of 190 calls a day. Patients are being cared for every day. Approving this contract will help ensure that care is maintained and continues to improve in 2024 and beyond. Now I'm going to turn the floor over to the subject matter experts who will be happy to answer your question. And as always, thank you for your service to the people of Knox County. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we'll move forward now with commission questions. Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Myers, is he here? He's going to get the same question from last week. Again, I'll go with Mr. Britt. Mr. Britt said that we may be, not exact words, may be stuck with this contract. I don't see that. I see us moving forward with AMR. In 1 year, we will know if they've improved or not. Then we could give, and I say we, this commission, I won't be sitting here. This commission in a year to 16 months can ask for it to be rebid again because there's a 180-day clause to get out. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's in section 801 and 802 of the current contract that's before you. I apologize, Madam Chair. Matt Myers, Knox County Procurement.
Thank
I
you.
apologize. Thank you.
So that's the most important part. I'm looking to go forward, and hopefully, in a perfect world, everything would be great. We'll get more nurses out of college, in the working force, and everything's going to improve. But if it don't, they will have to step up. There's no doubt about that. And we will know that in 12 months, that's for sure. And this commission will have an out if it needs an out. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward?
Thank you, Chair. I didn't say anything last week. I'm just going to state my opinion that really hasn't changed. And over the last year that we've been dealing with this, I've always been of the opinion of a two-service solution, split between across I-40 and anything within the 640 loop. Both should be able to tackle. That's always been my opinion. I made that clear to everybody involved and any of the ambulance services that talked to me. I don't think, there's been a lot of finger pointing at AMR. I don't think AMR is necessarily the problem. I think they got put into a situation where they were set up to fail to some degree. I don't know. I don't have the confidence, I should say, that this situation is that much better, that they're not being set up to fail again. So for me, it's just one part of the whole entire cog. It's with one cog in the wheel. So for me, it's been a challenge going back and forth over this, but basically just wanted to state that I still believe a two system is better than a single system, and I'm more disappointed in the contract than I am have problems with whoever won the contract fair and square. Is whoever won it fair and square. It doesn't matter what the company name is. So that's kind of my thoughts.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to take the time to thank everyone who's been a part of this process. I'm pretty certain that we can all agree that our current approach to the provision of emergency services, it no longer meets the growing demand or the ever-changing healthcare landscape here in Knox County. And it's going to take time and a collective effort to address all of the factors that contribute to the challenges that we're facing. I know that a great amount of work on this effort has taken place. We started with an assessment of emergency services by Fitch. We developed an RFP. There was review and scoring, an update of the contract, bringing forth the review committee's recommendation. Overall, I just want to state that I think that there was process integrity. And at the end of the day, we have a much better contract that will enable Knox County to have more oversight, more accountability, and a broader range of services. However, after a great deal of consideration, and I want to emphasize that, a great deal of consideration, it's my opinion that there are still a few things about the contract that cause me to pause. Even with paramedic quick response vehicles to provide treatment while a transport vehicle is en route, and even with the understanding that recommended response times are the ceiling, not the floor, I would have liked the RFP to be based on the CFAI response time baselines and benchmarks provided in the Fitch report. I would have also liked to have seen more zones countywide in the deployment plan. I'm not in favor of increasing penalty times. I would have liked a bond amount equitable to the subsidy, despite industry standards. I also think that because the landscape of emergency services and healthcare in general is constantly changing, that the terms of the contract should reflect such. These are all things that I did ask to be considered, but understand could not be included because they were not a part of the RFP, and Commission was not a part of that process. I was happy to see that my recommendation for peer agency surveys was included in the revised contract, so thank you for that. I've said this often, that interagency communication is key, and it will continue to be the key to success. So like Mr. Commissioner Ward said, It's not so much the recommendation out of the committee, it's just I take pause with the contract. So with all this said, I just want to state that I have made the very, very difficult decision to respectfully vote no. I want to say one last thing, though, that no matter how the votes fall, I have always been and I will continue to be committed to working with all agencies to ensure that we, as a county, are continually improving and adapting our approach to emergency services provision. Thank you.
Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too prepared some notes just because this has been an amazingly dense process. I know all of us have read so much and talked to so many people, and there's a lot to digest. I also want to echo, I know how much work has been done by the Jacobs administration, our procurement team. This is not easy. Your efforts are absolutely not unnoticed, and you guys do an amazing amount of work every day. I appreciate that. There is a lot of good that's come out of this process. We will have a new medical director that will be focused and will be a Knox County employee to oversee the operations. That's a huge improvement, and I hope that person is found and they are a great asset to us. I think it is a very good thing that Knox County E911 will take over dispatch. It will own the software and the data. I think the dispatching will improve, and I think that they will focus on constantly analyzing the data, and I'm happy to know that we will drive that system. The overall contract the new contract is better. It's more modernized, helps address the state of our current healthcare system. There's some good things that have come out of this process. I do have to say, like my colleagues, I'm a little disappointed that where we are right now. We as commissioners, we weren't included or consulted on drafting the key elements of the RFP. There are a lot of things that I wish were different when we started this process and got the vendors to bid on it. Like Commissioner Ward said, I really do think we could have had multiple providers supporting different services, giving bidders an option to bid on some or major or all those services, and having multiple vendors work together. We're growing too fast to rely on one. I still can't understand why we're giving private insurance a subsidy and helping them out by capping reimbursements, for the free market enterprise system. It's against every notion I have for free market principles, and I think it would cost us less. And we weren't involved with the selection of the committee that scored it or was part of that process. I would have loved to have seen more representation from key stakeholders and more key comparative metrics, past performance, financial health, employee relations, the list goes on and on. But because of the structure of the process and for other reasons, I get it. The legislative body wasn't afforded the opportunity. We can't amend the terms, change the contract, determine the vendors, or make any alterations in the process. We're in a corner. We're asked against a rush timeline to just say yes or no. That's where we are, and that's part of the structure of government. So I understand it. But from where I sit, it's hard for me to not take more into consideration. I, like Commissioner Frazier, represent nearly 500,000 people, and my job is to make the best decision for everyone. Throughout this process, I've heard from so many people across from Knox County, seniors, EMS professionals, first responders, hospital administrators, nurses, patients, caregivers, everyday citizens who've used the ambulance service. And I want to thank them for having really candid conversations over the phone, via email, in the field, nights and weekends. And something that struck me as I reviewed a lot of those, and I put all this together and stayed up a long time last night. In over the 100 conversations and emails that I had documented, only one person had anything positive to say about our current ambulance provider. It just tells me something about the confidence of our community in rehiring our current vendor. In addition to the hundreds of times in the last few months where AMR was at level 0, meaning there were no ambulances available to help citizens, last week was a really difficult moment for me. On Thursday afternoon at 4:03, I was informed that once again, AMR was at level 0 status with 4 calls holding and no emergency units available to serve. Let that sink in for a second. Normal afternoon, no major crisis, no major crashes, no natural disasters, nothing out of the norm, and the situation was so strained on a normal day, I can't imagine what it would look like during a crisis. I respect the process that brought us to this decision, I really do, but I've lost confidence personally in AMR as an ambulance provider. I believe our community has as well, and I will vote no on this contract approval. If you get 6 votes, AMR, good luck. If you get the opportunity to work in Knox County, I wish you the best. I'm just 1 vote out of 11. If that's the case, I really do hope you prove me wrong. I hope you are very successful. I hope you take care of our citizens. However, I think Knox County needs a new path forward and a new ambulance provider, and I'll be voting no tonight. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got a couple of questions for Director Parton.
Kevin Parton, Knox County Health Department.
Last Monday, prior to the work session, we were told there was a red line copy that they had changed numerous portions of the contract. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you were kind enough to send us the red line copy so we could actually study it and see what's going on. Do you by chance have a copy of that red line contract?
No, sir.
If not, okay.
Yeah.
Well, just a couple of quick things.
Sure.
Do you believe that in the contract that we're going to be able to hire a medical director at $50,000 a year?
That's the current standard across the nation according to Fitch. So obviously we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. And then on page 18 of the red line version, there's some numbers that need to be corrected, and I can point those out to you later because you're saying 60 days, and then you're saying in parentheses 90.
Okay.
So which way is it? And this is supposed to be the changes to the contract. Is there anything in this contract that spells out that AMR will provide service at our high school football games?
No, sir.
Okay. We were kind of told that the Fitch report is our guide to make our decisions from. Would you agree with that statement?
That's what we built our RFP off of, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Was the evaluation committee given this report prior to their scoring?
It's available to anybody that would like it. It's an open document, but we didn't physically hand it to anybody.
They didn't get a copy of this before they started scoring the RFP?
No, sir. They're there to score the proposers,
Okay.
not necessarily the Fitch report, which was only a data collection and recommendation tool of the prior contract.
Okay. I tried to perform kind of a factual analysis of all the information that all of us have gotten here. As you can see on the screen, that was the information that I requested from you on the fees that AMR were assessed from your department. Is that the correct numbers up there?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, in 2018, that is the year that AMR got their second renewal of their contract, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, because this body had to give them the opportunity to renew that contract, and there were several commissioners that at that point in time that really emphasized that maybe we should put it out at that point for an RFP, but the majority said to go ahead and go forward. Based on the data that you see there, it seems like every year that they've had the extension of the contract, their fines have increased dramatically. And, you know, in 2018, we were promised that they would do better, they would continue to do things the right way, but yet your data right there doesn't hold water, so to speak.
I would say that teaches us a lesson to not allow a contract to go 10 years without looking to change it along the way.
Okay. Can you do the next slide? And then, since this was our guide to make decisions from, if you can kind of scroll down to the bottom. At the bottom of the page there, the Fitch report basically says, and if any commissioner has their Fitch report, it's on the bottom of 15. It basically says the contractor did not meet the 90th percentile requirement for the years 2021 and 2022, even with the 7-minute allowance. And that was the standard of 10 minutes plus an additional 7 minutes, meaning 17 minutes. And they couldn't hit it in 2021 and 2022. And now the new contract wants us to go to 20 minutes. Is that correct?
The new contract outside of the city incorporated does have a 20-minute response time, which would be better than the response time that the outlying areas are receiving now.
Okay. I was actually, this is fascinating to me because kind of like Commissioner Jay, we like the numbers, but are you aware that the Knoxville Fire Department actually keeps data on their 911 calls?
I'm sure all first responding agencies probably keep data on their calls, or at least I hope.
Well, what was interesting is they provided me with just the month of September of this year. So inside the city of Knoxville, that were 911 calls designated to their jurisdiction, there was over 1,100 calls for service during that month. And like you said, inside the city, they are required to meet that 10-minute threshold.
It's 17 minutes as of the last amendment.
Inside the city?
As of the last amendment, it's 17 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, they met that 47% of the time inside the city of Knoxville. That was 524 calls. More than 10 minutes response time was 20% of the calls, okay? That was 222 out of the 1,100. What's also fascinating to me that individuals called in and requested an ambulance, but because of the wait time, 24 were transported by privately owned vehicles. In fact, one of the vehicles that transported a patient was the battalion chief of the Knoxville Fire Department. But then the last number I thought was kind of really interesting was that in the month of September, when the 911 call came in and it was determined it was in the city of Knoxville's jurisdiction, there were 289 calls for services where no ambulances were available at the point in time. Now, if that means the call came in at noon and then at 12:05 there were ambulances available, that could have happened. At 1:05, ambulances could have happened. But I thought that was interesting that high percentage, there were no ambulances available within the core center of Knox County to be able to handle the citizens who live in the city of Knoxville. And it's kind of unfortunate that you guys in the health department don't get to see those numbers because you really don't know then what actually is going on.
That's why in the new contract we'll own all the software that allows that.
Right, and hopefully that'll get better. The other thing is, under the new contract, Knox County is going to pay a little over $172,000 a month to AMR. And then in the contract, if they don't meet the deliverables, those fines are going to be deducted from the $172,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then one of the things I thought was interesting, nowhere in this total conversation is, and I'm not sure if the other vendors that were vying for this contract, and if they were known this information, would they have reduced their subsidy requirements to very similar to AMR? But how much does AMR actually receive on a yearly basis from their ambulance subscription fee that they charge? You know, most of us know that Rural Metro charges us a fire fee, but also people are paying as part of that, if they want to, they can tack on the ambulance subscription fee, which is additional revenue for AMR. So when you say in the contract that if their profitability is above 12%, is that going to include the subscription fee that they're getting from Knox County citizens?
That would be included in their revenue numbers, so yes.
Okay. But so I guess my question is, if the other people who applied as a vendor were aware of the subscription service, they might have lowered their estimate instead of being above the 3 million.
We would need to ask AMR. I'm not aware that the subscription service is still,
Yeah, I had
that
a
you can
call
sign
today
up.
from they
So-
pay a yearly fee for an
I'm sure that
ambulance.
somebody pays for it. I just don't know that you can still sign up for that.
Okay.
I believe that was from rural metro days where it carried over.
Well, they paid it this year, so it.
Sure.
Okay. And again, we are the third largest county in Tennessee, and I know I've said that on several times on several issues over the years. But I'm kind of like Commissioner Jay and Commissioner Frazier. I feel like we're taking a step backwards with this new contract. And, you know, we should have been going, instead of increasing the time for the rural areas for Richie's area and stuff and Commissioner Lee's area to 20 minutes, we should be going from 17 minutes down to 14 minutes. We should be trying to do better to get that service to the constituent who needs it on a timely basis. And again, if this contract goes through, they're not going to hold Mayor Kincannon or Mayor Williams or even Mayor Jacobs' feet to the fire. They're going to hold, the community is going to hold the 11 members of this body's feet to the fire if this doesn't work out. So after completing a factual analysis, I am not in favor of supporting this contract renewal, or a new contract, excuse me, for AMR. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Beeler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, this is one of those votes, you know. I sat in this seat for 5 years and cast quite a few votes. Some of them are tough, man. Some of them are, you really remember them because of just how you labor over deciding. This is definitely one of those votes. And I guess in a way it is what we sign up for, because we want to be part of the decision-making process that affects Knox County. But of course, the risk in that, the inherent risk in that is no matter how much research you do and no matter how much you labor and debate and gather information, sometimes you make a decision, it might not turn out to be the right one. You just don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to vote, and then I'm going to kind of tell you how I got to the decision, just like my colleagues have done. You probably know how I'm going to vote because I've seconded the motion. I intend to vote yes on this. I'm going to tell you how I got to that. Everybody arrives at their decision a little bit differently. And let me just say this too. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt there is not a person on this dais that would cast a vote either way on this for any self-serving reason. I know that about these people. That's not in the equation. Having said that, you know, we'll end up voting differently, I'm sure. But I'm voting yes. You know, I've heard a lot of information. I've gotten a lot of emails, phone calls, input from friends, constituents, political supporters, vendors, and those who were part of this bid process, and I'm voting yes on this because it boiled down to this. I believe we need a contract, and I believe we need a contract approved tonight that's ready to take effect February 1st, 2024. That's no disrespect to any provider's ability to come in at the 11th hour and save the day. I don't doubt anyone's ability to do that who says they could do that, but that isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for a contract. In Mayor Jacobs' words, we need a contract that is fixed and stable. Again, I may be quoting the mayor, I don't know, but is it perfect? Absolutely not. How could it possibly be perfect? Is it better? I do think it is better. I think even some of my colleagues who have said they're probably not going to vote for it admit that there's been some good things that have come out of it. But ultimately, whether or not this contract is a success or a failure is going to come down to the provider. You know, you guys got to get it done. You know, if we vote to approve this contract, you guys got to get it done. And if you don't, we're going to be right back here again. And, you know, I will remind us of what Commissioner Daly said, that the county has protections in this contract to revisit if it's not getting done. You know, I wanted to make a comment or two on what Mr. Britt said, and not to pick on Mr. Britt. I know what my colleague already did. Shows you we're listening, though. You know, I appreciate Mr. Britt's remarks, but just even if I disagree with him, he always presents them in a way that's articulate and civil. You know, but just a couple of things. The cowardice part, listen, depending on your motivation, a yes or a no vote could be cowardly in a case like this. So I don't think that necessarily has to do with which way you vote. And in terms of our ability to do things in 72 days, I don't think Knox County can print money, last I checked. So it's not as easy as winning a war in terms of financing it. So, you know, for all those reasons, I believe that it's incumbent upon this commission to approve this contract, imperfect as it may be, and then hold the provider's feet to the fire or revisit it when the time comes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I do have a few comments I'd like to make. Commissioner Beeler, you were very articulate. It is one of those votes. It just doesn't feel quite right either way. I am going to move forward on this, and like Commissioner Beeler, I kind of feel the need to tell you why also. Not because I think everything's going to be perfect. I know that we've got a long way to go. But I do appreciate that this is a new contract and that we have safeguards built into this that we did not have before. I think that is of critical importance. I appreciate the fact that I don't appreciate the fact that that the contract was written, and then if any of us wanted to propose any changes, that it was not impossible but extremely difficult to do. I do respect the integrity of the process, but I do hope in the future that there will be a little bit more involvement from and input from commissioners. That made it very difficult for us, although I appreciate in the other realm the fact that perhaps you were trying to protect us. But either way, we are the ones up here having to take it. In your effort to protect us, perhaps was not what we all hoped that it would be. And when I say protect us, I mean protect us from any undue influence in this. I do appreciate that we have the out contract. I'm not pretending for a minute it wouldn't be very difficult to pull, that it would cause a lot of disruption, but it is there if things do not work as we intend for them to work. I do appreciate the fact that we are going to have our own medical director, and that medical director is going to have full access to software that we are going to own, and we are going to be able to request and run numbers ourselves so that we will know if this situation is in fact improving or not. I do appreciate the stepped up accountability with the quarterly reports that we're going to be getting. I do appreciate the fact that out of our subsidy that we will be paying every month, that fines will no longer be excused or forgiven, that it will come off of the top of that amount of money. I think that all these things serve to prove to whoever the next contractor would be that we mean business, and that if it if we don't get it right this time, that it's not even going to be a 5-year process. Another thing that I very much appreciate that I wish we're further along in the process, but I'm glad it has at least started, is our healthcare task force. And if you could, Mr. Parton, just very, very briefly, please explain to especially those that are watching what that task force is in fact charged with doing, recognizing that this issue is not just an ambulance issue, but it is truly a healthcare issue.
Sure, absolutely. So what I charged Mr. Hamby to do was, after the Fitch report came out and we started to realize the issues and the problems that are surrounding not just EMS, but the healthcare community itself, was to get some stakeholders from each one, start out very small, identify issues that they're seeing, and kind of, as Commissioner Frazier talked about, break down the silos of what's actually going on in our healthcare system. At their first meeting, they actually found, I think, 4 issues in terms of discharge, behavioral transports, which we know, the culture of low acuity patients being driven into the 911 system or into the ED when they didn't necessarily need to be there. And then, of course, everybody's hated word, staffing. And so what they do is they've only met.
And who is they? Excuse me.
So this would be members from each one of our hospital partners, and then AMR currently attends as the EMS provider. And then once they isolate a problem, for instance, discharge, the hospitals are working on getting data for us so that we can analyze that to see where the gaps might be that we could fill perhaps as ourselves. Do we need to look for a service to help with that? The second meeting was about behavioral transports, just behavioral patients inside the ED itself. And so what we do is we take the next meeting and we bring those partners in. So they had all of our local behavioral health partners come in and work with not only the hospitals, but with AMR. You know, how can we divert that individual from the ED? So that's kind of the charge that they have. And it's, so far we're getting there slowly, unfortunately, but
All
sure.
right. And the role of the health department is actually one of a facilitator or organizer.
Yes. We're the neutral ground.
Right. You actually have
no
no
fault.
authority to make anyone do anything.
We do
but
not.
in fact, can call what it is, and put it out there with the good faith that all the providers will do.
Yes, everybody's
Try to
working in the same direction.
Fill it. Thank you. Commissioner Lundy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been kind of quiet on this, just really listening and to everyone's thoughts. And I totally get where my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Frazier, Commissioner Jay, and Commissioner Schoonmaker is coming from. I also understand where Commissioner Beeler and Commissioner Daly's coming from. As a person who works in healthcare for the past 18 years, it's bad out there. There are a lot of people that are not getting served because there's not enough people to serve them. I've seen so many people are living alone, suffering whatever illness, and there's no one there for them to call on. I see where the needs are not being met when people need a basic medications or maybe a walker for assistance. They just don't have it. As Commissioner Durrett said, she's tired of the blame game. And I agree with her. I do believe, I feel the uneasiness about the vote from of my colleagues, and that to me lets me know that when you live in that space of uneasiness, you really care and you're thinking about your decision with utmost intentionality. I always try to quote Dr. King
He said, where do we go from here, chaos or community? Has the process been fair? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to the eyes of the beholder. Yes, it probably could have been a little bit more unified, but we live in such a fast-paced society. We don't think about including others. We just like, we gotta get it done, we gotta get it done. But I do trust this commission. I know it won't be here next year. Whether people vote yes or no, I do trust this commission, my colleagues, and the next commissioners, that they will be willing to, if AMR gets this contract, I trust that the commissioners that will remain here will be sure to, I want to be fired. What's a fire word? They're going to hold you with the most accountability, and I think they will cause a war with you. And I'm looking at the leaders back there. If this does pass, please know that they are not going to be sitting on the sidelines. There's a lot of hurting people out here. There's a lot of suffering out here. And I just wanted to give that perspective as we are struggling with that decision. And I also gotta, just because being who I am, gotta comment on the article that some of us did get the $500. And I thought about that. I see what people are saying, how it can be corrupted or whatever, and should you take the money and should you not? But to me, it's all about your intentionality. There's a paradigm shift of who's coming into office. I know these women here, they're mothers. They are educated women. They love their community with all their hearts. They are not up here to get their vote bought by anyone. And plus, as the queens we are, $500 ain't gonna do nothing. And let me say my worth, I'm worth millions. So, and we know that's not coming from government. But I would just leave that at that. Just wanna give a perspective of let's move in unity, however this votes go. Let's do it better. Let's lay the blueprint. Let's be the blueprint for other counties that are suffering. We're not the only one making this decision. It's bigger than that. So just let us move forward in unity, and that's the message. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeler?
Aye.
Commissioner Daley?
Aye.
Commissioner Jay?
No.
Commissioner Frazier?
Respectfully, no.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Durrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Oster?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward?
No.
And Commissioner Schoonmaker.
No.
The motion to have AMR be our next vendor passes 7-4. Next item, please.
Item number 44 is Resolution 901, urging the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, and the TDOT Excess Land Office to streamline and accelerate the excess land sale process.
Do we have a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Oster. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 45, Resolution 904, amending the Knox County Commission rules, Rule 1, to add new Section X, Knox County Code of Ethics, acknowledging that Knox County Commission adheres to the Knox County Code of Ethics policy.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Durrett. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 46, Resolution 905, amending the Knox County Commission Rules, Rule 5, to add a new Section U, Knox County Code of Ethics, acknowledging that members of county committees and boards adhere to the Knox County Code of Ethics policy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Durant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 47, Resolution 906, amending the Knox County Commission Rules, Rule 1, Section I, Committee Referrals, to add that a majority vote of commission may also refer to the appropriate committee any matter requiring consideration or study by a committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Frazier, second by Durant. Seeing no lights, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 49, Ordinance O-23-11-102, amending the Knox County Code, Chapter 6, Article 2, Animal Control, Section 6-31, Definitions, to amend the definition of animal control officer in order to authorize a third party to furnish animal control enforcement duties as set forth in the city and county charters and ordinances throughout the city and county. Ordinance number O-96-5-101, adopted June 24th, 1996. Ordinance number O-07-12-102, adopted January 28th, 2008. Ordinance number O-15-4-101, adopted May 26, 2015, and ordinance number O-19-3-102, adopted April 22, 2019. This is first reading.
Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Daley, second by Jay. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing no lights, this does require a roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Beeler?
Aye.
Commissioner Daley?
Commissioner Daley?
Yes.
Commissioner Jay?
Aye.
Commissioner Frazier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Durrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Oster?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward? Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Aye.
Commissioner Hill?
Aye. Motion passes 11-0 on first reading. We are on public forum now. Is Rick Roach still in the audience? Mr. Roach? I believe he's no longer here. Next item, please.
Item number 51, discussion and approval of the February 2024 dates for commission work session and regular session meetings.
Thank you. Again, just to review, we will be moving, with your approval, the scheduled February 20th meeting to the 21st, which is a Wednesday. And we will also be having the regular voting meeting and zoning on February 26th, which will be a Monday. Are there any questions or comments about that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Topic for discussion, Commissioner Schoonmaker, you had requested a discussion about unidentified written information.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You want to talk first?
No, after you.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
trying to put my name in the queue.
Didn't understand the hand signals. Well, first off, we get a packet of 13 pages on the morning of the commission meeting, and the commission staff's got to run around and scan this document and then copy it, or scan it and send it to us, and then copy it and put it in these folders all for us. And I'm glad somebody realized that we have no title, no header from anybody's name, address, email, there's no signatures, there's no corporate name, there's nothing. And I think the Rules Committee needs to make a decision that when we get things like this delivered to the commission office, that it goes in the circular file, or it goes in your mailbox, but they shouldn't have, the commission office shouldn't have to stop what they're doing and run around for something like this. This is ridiculous. And because we have at this point, we even have no idea who sent this to us. Complete waste of time. So I think Commissioner Jay wanted to say something.
Commissioner Jay, you have a comment?
It's not on this subject, so.
Oh, all right.
Something else?
So do I hear you requesting that you'd like this
Yeah, I'd like
to be a,
Yeah, or some input from some of my colleagues. Do you think this is a complete waste of time for us and the staff and everything else? I mean, this could have come from Connecticut. We had no idea where this came from.
oh goodness. Did you see him? Commissioner Daly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree. I didn't even open it up. Still hadn't opened up this one right here. It will go in the circular file. In the past, we've had mail sent to us with nobody's address on it, no return address. You do open, I did open those, nobody's name down there. If you're not brave enough to put your name on there, don't send it, because I am not going to read it. I can promise you that.
Thank you. Commissioner Beeler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, I agree with Commissioner Daly. There's a rounded rectangular file right back here. Mine's already in it, unopened. But I would say anonymous communications don't need to be disseminated to the commissioners, but I would encourage the Rules Committee to put that in writing.
All right, that's a second request to have the Rules Committee look at it. Commissioner Lee?
I agree with the comments that the commissioners have made, and I think it should be a rule that we disregard anything that's not signed.
All right, thank you. Rules Committee has duly noted that that will be an item for discussion. Commissioner Durrett, I'm sorry, I didn't see your.
That's okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm kind of on the other side of this. I mean, we can definitely discuss, bring it to rules. Let's talk about it. But Commissioner Schoonmaker brought it when I was chair too, because we had received some correspondence that was anonymous, and it was sent via email, I believe, at that point. I don't think our staff ended up having to print it and get it to everyone and that sort of thing. But to me, it is someone's voice, and that's why we put our email addresses out there. There is no requirement that they have to include where it is coming from. So I'm kind of on the side of this is someone's voice, and they're getting their message to their elected officials.
Thank you. And in closing, Mr. Schoonmaker.
Just when you got the email, you did know somebody, you could respond back to them, correct? If you wanted to? When you got an email from somebody?
No, when it went to commission, I think, or maybe it was a mailed letter and she scanned it, and that's how we got it. She didn't have to print off 13 pages and all that, but it was a letter that was mailed. That's what it was. It was a letter that was mailed that Drusilla scanned and emailed to all of us. There was no.
Okay, the individual didn't
contact information or anything like that.
Okay.
All right, we will. Did you have a comment about that specific item, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please go ahead.
I think the point you're trying to make, Commissioner Schoonmaker, is that we don't even know if they are a constituent if they don't tell us who they are and where they're coming from. It could be somebody in China for all you know, kind of thing. Is that the point you're trying to make?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question. I guess it would be for our office, our wonderful office team. How was this originally received?
It was delivered this morning via courier.
Just like.
Yes.
They made the copies. We did not print those. I just scanned it and sent it to you. And as a rule of thumb, whether it's identified or not, I can't pick and choose what you guys get. You guys have to decide that. So that's why you get it regardless.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you. We will discuss this at Rules Committee. Are you finished, Commissioner Schoon? I'm trying to push this along so we'll have a little break before zoning. Commissioner Jay?
New topic?
What is,
I just want to remind everybody, you have in front of you the master schedule for the Junior Commissioner Program. Please take a look at it. And if you have any other essay questions that you would like included in the application, I need any suggestions to changes to the schedule, any application questions in my hands by 2 o'clock tomorrow. We're locking it in and moving forward. Thank you.
thank you, and thank you for all the work you've done on this. You've done a good job with publicity and all, getting it out this year. That's much appreciated. Seeing no lights, and I'm assuming there's no objection then, we are adjourned until 7 o'clock.
my cars, whatever car I put them on, would get hit in the parking lot, would get scratched up. And when I took the tags off my car, it didn't have to. Now, correlation is causation. Maybe it had nothing to do with each other. But I do believe that my car is being targeted because of those tags.
We're going to.
Just a Moscow Mule.
It's 7 o'clock, and I'm calling to order the zoning meeting of the Knox County Commission for Monday, November 20th. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lundy,
Here.
Commissioner Durrett. Here. Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Ward.
Here.
Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Beeler.
Here.
Commissioner Daly. Here. Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Commissioner Law Director Moyers, I'm turning it over to you for swearing in, please.
Anybody who's going to speak before this body tonight on any matter that's on the agenda, if you're an applicant, if you are an opponent to an item that's on the agenda, please stand and raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you in. Everybody? All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you will give tonight be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Be seated, please. And let me remind you that it is a civil offense to lie under oath to this commission during the course of this meeting, punishable by up to $500 fine.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
Item number 52, 9-J-23-RZ is a request of Blackman Construction for rezoning from PR planned residential up to 5 dwelling units per acre and A agricultural to PR planned residential up to 6 dwelling units per acre. Property is located at 4900 East Emory Road, parcel ID 029-05701 in the 7th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant? If you'd please state your name and county of residence.
There's a little button. There's a little button on that if you push it. There you go.
I'm Matthew Blackman, Knox County.
Thank you, Mr. Blackman. Is there any opposition or anyone wishing to speak on this matter? I'm seeing none. Director Brooks, would you please read the Planning Commission's recommendation?
Yes. Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the PR planned residential zone up to 5 dwelling units per acre for the portion of the parcel zoned A agricultural to make it consistent with the rest of the parcel because it is consistent with the sector plan and surrounding area by a vote of 9-0.
Thank you. Mr. Blackman, do you have anything you'd like to say about your project?
Sorry.
You have to speak up just a little bit.
We just wish to have the approval for 5 dwelling units per acre.
All right, all right.
That's it.
Are there any questions about this project? Seeing no lights, Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you could just explain a little bit about what exactly you're wanting to do with this property.
We are wanting to put a duplex on the property, and we own the adjoining property, and so we purchased this parcel to add to it and add a duplex to it.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had a question for Director Brooks. I noticed that the staff recommended denial because it's not consistent with the development in the area of the sector plan. Could you speak to that, please, ma'am?
Certainly. Planning staff recommended denial of the medium-density residential planning district because that there wasn't conditions that warranted amendment to the plan itself, that there wasn't a error or omission, and that the land use classification does allow up to 5 dwelling units per acre.
Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Applicant, can you pull your microphone a little bit forward because I have a question. Okay, you're saying you want to put a duplex on the 2.27 acres?
2 units.
Okay. But you're asking for actually that you could put 11 dwelling units on that property.
This piece of property will be combined with 4904 East Emory Road.
I know, but if the 2.27 acres is approved at 5 dwelling units an acre, what that means is then this body is giving you permission to put 11 dwelling units on that 2.27 acres. And so if you don't need that many units, why don't you request exactly what you need from this body?
We are putting 11 units on it if this is approved.
So it's going to be more than just one duplex?
Yes.
So how many duplexes will it be?
There is currently that have been approved 3 triplexes, and then this parcel with the density would be a duplex. So a total of 11.
There's already 3 on there, I think he's saying.
I'm not following the math here, but. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Schoonmaker, did you have some more questions?
We're zoning just this parcel only, which is 2.27 acres. I know, but we're doing this, not the other parcel. So we're saying on this parcel, we want to give him 11, we want to do 11 dwelling units, correct? If we do it the way Knox Planning's recommendation is. At 2.27 times 5 dwelling units is 11. Am I the only one that's looking at this the wrong way? I see some people shaking their heads, yes, I don't know. But if you don't need 11 units for this particular parcel, why are we doing it this way?
Mr. Blackman, you said you're combining it with 4904, is that what you'd said?
Yes, 4904 was approved. We have 9 units on that. This 4900 was owned by Turner Homes. We purchased it and want to combine it with the other parcel.
All right, but the actual zoning you're asking for now is only what is currently shows, which is the 4900 address, which
That's
is
correct.
the 2.7 acres.
Yes.
All right.
The 4900 is not 2 acres. It was 0.4, I believe. All combined with the other comes the 2 acres that you're speaking of.
All right, so it's the two plats together then, 4900
Yes.
and 4904.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. It just had a separate address, which sometimes is a little, all right. So the total of both plats will be 2.7 acres, if I'm understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks, is that correct? There's 2 parcels with 2 different addresses, but yet Planning Commission is only recommending the one address at 4900 East Emory Road?
That's correct. It's for parcel ID 029057001. That might be
Okay.
a better way to distinguish it.
But he says he's got another parcel it's 4/10 of an acre that he's got approval for 9 dwelling units on. Is that correct?
No.
That's not what he's saying.
I'm not following that.
That's why I can't figure out the math here. That's why this is not making any sense.
Chair.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Commissioner Ward.
That's all right. If you look at the packet, it's a little confusing because there's the bigger box, but from what he's saying, I believe the property around the smaller property is already zoned at 5 units an acre. He's only coming for the 0.4 acres, that corner unit that's agricultural currently, and he wants to change that to match the others, which is 5 units an acre, so that he can build the 11 in total. So on that 0.4, he's saying he wants to build a duplex. The duplex will be on just that 0.4. The other is already at 5 units an acre if you look at your zoning maps on the packet. So he has all the land basically zoned at 5 units an acre except for this one little 0.4 acres. It's a little confusing because they put a big box around everything instead of a little box, but we're not talking about the 5 units an acre that's already PR that he owns. We're just talking about that little green corner in that box. If you look at the zoning map, which I believe's on, which one is this? It's like the eight down. That's the best map to see. And then the sector plan map is right attached to it as well. Is that correct, sir?
You're
okay.
spot on.
Hopefully that clears everything up for everybody. So we're just talking about that 0.4, and he already has 5 units an acre all around it. So he's only going to build that duplex on that 0.4.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you. Knox Planning, do you agree with what's going on? Because
That's correct. Commissioner Ward described it well. The maps are up on the screen now, so you can see the green on the top. So it's just that green portion that's carved out of that black box there.
But why would your document say that that small portion is 2.27 acres?
It is that small corner there,
Yeah.
because that's what was requested to be rezoned.
And that's 2.27 acres. What's the whole track cover?
The plat of record that's been recorded that absorbed that property line of the small piece, the larger piece, the box that you see there that's dark is 2.28 acres total, per the plat recorded a month or two ago.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you're just building one duplex?
All in all, there will be 11.
Can't hear you.
All in all, there will be 11. Right now, we have 9 units that have been approved. We bought the other parcel to combine to give us a total of 11.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure, I agree where Commissioner Schoonmaker is going. We need to make sure that we record it correctly in the record in case in the future we need to come back to this, that it doesn't state that it's 2.27 acres. Staff has only recommended rezoning for the portion, so we need to identify the portion in our records so that, again, if we have to revisit this at any point, the records are correct.
Thank you. Commissioner Ward?
Staff, let me know if I'm off track here. I think what I'm getting or hearing is that this is all one piece of land, correct, sir, currently? So I get where people are getting confused. He's looking at it as a whole, and a part of his whole is zoned a different zoning. And that happens, there's plenty of, I own a piece of land where the front of my land is zoned X and the back part of my land is zoned Y. And that's the situation that he's coming up. So it's making the whole property whole. So that's why the whole box is boxed out. I think that's where the confusion is coming from. So of this property, 90% of it is already zoned that one. He just is requesting that last piece. So when you ask him, how many are you building? Well, I am building on my acreage, all of it, 11. But if you're talking about this specific little corner that we're talking about the rezoning, there's only 2 that are going to go in that because it's only 0.4 acres. So you can only build 2 at 5 units an acre. So hopefully that kind of clears it up. But I think he's talking apples and we're talking oranges a little bit. That's where people are getting confused because he's looking at this as just one piece, which it is just one piece, but we're just rezoning the one little corner of his one piece to match the rest of his property. Staff, am I accurate on?
That is correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Commissioner Beeler?
I'm good now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm making a motion to approve the planned residential zone up to 5 dwelling units per acre for the portion of parcel zoned A to make it consistent with the rest of the parcel because it's consistent with the sector plan and the surrounding area.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Lee, a second by Ward. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Item number 53, 10-C-23-RZ is a request of Miles Morrison for rezoning from PR Planned Residential from 1 to 3 dwelling units per acre to A Agriculture. Property is located at 8255 and 8263 Dove Wing Lane, parcel ID 028-11208, and this is in the 7th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant?
I am Miles Morrison, 7710 Hoff Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Is there any opposition to this request? Seeing none, Commissioner, Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the A agricultural zone because it's consistent with the sector plan and surrounding development by a vote of 9-0.
All right, kind of a refreshing request. Any comments, questions? Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to see this, anything go to agriculture, so if there's not any questions, I'm making a motion to approve the agricultural zone because it's consistent with the sector plan and surrounding development.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Lee, a second by Frazier. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item number 54 is request of A Step Towards Home for rezoning for the portion of parcel zoned I industrial to PR planned residential up to 5 dwelling units per acre, and for the portion of the parcel zoned A agricultural to PR planned residential up to 3.25 dwelling units per acre. Property is located at 7816 Ball Camp Pike, parcel ID 091226 in the 6th Commission District.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Seeing no one, we'll revisit this at the end of zoning. Next item, please.
Item number 56 is a request of Brian F. Frederick for rezoning from A agricultural to PR planned residential up to 5 dwelling units per acre to RA low-density residential. Property is located at 8500 Westland Drive, parcel ID 133038, and that is in the 4th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant? Your name and county of residence?
I'm Brian Frederick, Knox County.
Thank you, Mr. Frederick. Is there any opposition to this request? Seeing none, Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low-density residential zone because it's consistent with the sector plan and consistent with the surrounding development by a vote of 9-0.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your project?
I would not.
All right. Are there any questions from anyone on the commission? Seeing no lights, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Ward.
I like men of little words. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Ward, second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Your motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Item number 57 is a request of Coreyton A Series LLC of Delta Properties LLC for rezoning from A agricultural to CA general business. Property is located at 7509 East Emory Road, parcel ID 021104, part of, and that is in the 8th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant?
I'm a representative.
And your name and county of residence?
Thomas Graves from Cherokee, Alabama.
Graves?
Graves.
Thank you, Mr. Graves. Is there any opposition to this project? Seeing none, Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the CA general business zone because it's consistent with the sector plan and surrounding development, subject to 2 conditions by a vote of 10-0 on consent.
Thank you. Mr. Graves, would you like to speak to your project?
Be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Do we have any questions from anyone on commission? Seeing no one's light but Mr. Beeler, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Graves, are there any plans for this parcel yet?
We have the site plans,
Okay.
and I would assume that those were in your package when we sent in. I'm not sure.
I'm sure no, I don't see a site plan. I've looked at the map. Well, I'll take that back. Let's see. No, I don't see a site plan. I mean, can you speak to any plans you might have for it? I know.
Yeah, it's a 10,000 square foot commercial retail space. It's we're looking at doing a Dollar Tree.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. If there are no other questions, Madam Chair, I would move that we approve this rezoning per the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Beeler, a second by Daly. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Your motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 59, 10-G-23-SP is a request of Holston Springs LLC for an East County Sector Plan amendment from LDR Low Density Residential and HP Hillside Protection to RR Rural Residential and HP Hillside Protection. Property is located at 733 McCubbins Road and 1144 Wooddale Church Road, parcel ID 073203, part of, in the 8th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant?
Yes, Bobby Bramhall, Holston Springs LLC, Knox County,
And your last name again?
Bramhall.
Thank you, sir. Is there any opposition to this project? Seeing none out there, Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the sector plan amendment to RR Rural Residential because it's consistent with the development in the area by a vote of 9-0. The HP land use classification would remain intact.
Mr. Bramhall, would you like to speak to your project?
Not unless there's any questions.
All right. Are there any questions? Seeing no lights, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Beeler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, sir, can you kind of explain for the reason for this? Well, I know we can talk about this on the next item, but it's all one thing. So why the change to OS?
Yes, so I took recommendation from the planning staff here, and I thought it was lodging when we have glamping, and I thought it was lodging when Knox County, and they said this is possibly a campground. And so we went ahead and changed it to what an open space could hold, which is a campground. So they said that that would be allowable in the zone. So I'm just following the planning staff recommendation.
All right, thank you. Madam Chair, I move that we approve this sector plan amendment per the recommendation of the Planning Commission because it's consistent with development in the area.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Beeler, second by Daly. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hold on.
Item number 60, 10-L-23-RZ is a request of Holston Springs LLC for rezoning from A agricultural to OS open space. Property is located at 733 McCubbins Road and 1144 Wooddale Church Road, parcel ID 073203, part of, in the 8th Commission District.
Thank you. Mr. Bramhall, your name and residence again?
Bobby Bramhall, Holston Springs LLC, Knox County.
Thank you. Director Brooks, you have a recommendation?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the OS open space zone for the portion of the subject property illustrated in the zoning boundary map and the application subject to one condition by a vote of 9-0.
All right. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Beeler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion to approve this rezoning to open space for the portion of the subject property illustrated in the zoning boundary map in the application, subject to the one condition proposed by the Planning Commission recommendation.
Do I have? Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Beeler, a second by Frazier. Are there any questions?
I have one. On the fence that I'm supposed to erect, is there a timeline that I need to get that up by?
That would be a question for our director.
The condition says install a fence along the western property line within 60 days of the development plan approval.
Thank you.
Seeing no others, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Item number 61, 9-F-23-RZ is a request of Randall J. Sparks for rezoning from A agricultural to TO technology overlay and planned residential up to 3.5 dwelling units per acre and TO technology overlay. Property is located at 3303 George Light Road, parcel ID 089-16501 in the 6th Commission District.
Thank you. Are you the applicant?
Yes.
Your name and county of residence?
Randall Jason Sparks, Knox County.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to this project? Seeing none out there, Director Brooks?
Planning Commission recommends that County Commission approve the RA low density zone because it's consistent with the sector plan and consistent with the surrounding development. By a vote of 14-0, the TO technology overlay will be retained.
Thank you. Mr. Sparks, would you like to speak to this project?
If there's any questions.
Okay. I have a question.
Sure.
Well, I noticed that there is a house already on that property.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that house going to remain, or what is your plan for the rest of the?
Yes, ma'am. So that house will remain, and what we'll do is we'll split the plan is to split it in half, and so each house will have a half acre.
All right. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve this RA zoning because it's consistent with the sector plan and consistent with surrounding development.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Hill, second by Oster. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 62, zoning appeal 9-B-23-SP is an appeal by Edelmary Martinez of the Knoxville, Knox County Planning Commission's denial of a request for a South County Sector Plan amendment from AG Agricultural to RR Rural Residential. Property is located at 507 Brown Mountain Loop Road, parcel ID 124PA005 in the 9th Commission District.
Thank you, sir. And I see that you are here on an appeal. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this project? Seeing none, Director Brooks?
The Planning Commission's action was to deny the sector plan amendment to RR Rural Residential because it does not meet the criteria for a sector plan amendment by a vote of 14-0.
All right. Mr. Martinez, would you like to speak to this project?
Yes, please. My name is Andrew Henley. I'm speaking on behalf of the applicant.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Andrew Henley.
Henley?
Henley, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Should I go ahead and start?
Yes, please.
Hello, my name is Andrew Henley. I'll be speaking on behalf of Edelmary Martinez. Please let me start by saying this is my second time speaking on this. The first time I got a little bit ahead of myself and I started the process a bit prematurely, which is why I've appealed. But now I have spent some time speaking with Commissioner Daley, and I think we're prepared to move forward. Our plan, our hope, is to gain committee approval to run a KUB sewer line to the property and rezone it in such a way that it will allow us to create 2 buildable lots on that property. The project will be funded by us. We believe this will bring the property more in line with other lots in the neighborhood with respect to their size and usage. As far as KUB goes, we've been in contact with a gentleman named Jeff. He's a project planning representative who determined that the cost will be approximately $42,000, which we are happy to pay. The sewer line will need to be run either 140 feet from one direction or 160 feet from the other, depending on where we come from.
All right. Are there any questions about this project? Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Snowden, with running a sewer line to that property, will that impact other property owners that are adjacent to this property?
No, sir, I don't believe it will.
I was asking this gentleman over here the question.
I'm sorry.
That's all
You know,
right.
I haven't seen the plans that this gentleman's proposing, but, I mean, it looks like that there's, you know, a decent right-of-way along Brown Mountain Loop, so I wouldn't imagine it to be too impactful to some of the surrounding folks.
But if like 513 Brown Mountain Loop Road is on a septic and the sewer runs in front of them, are they not going to be required to either hook up or pay a monthly fee to KUB because the sewer line now runs in front of their house? And is that a potential hardship for that property owner?
That is my understanding. If there is sewer available, the adjacent landowners either have to adjoin the sewer or pay the reservation fee, yes.
Okay, do we know where the sewer ends on this?
I can, if you give me a second, I can look. We should have access to KUB maps.
Okay. Could I ask the applicant if he knows where the sewer ends and would start?
Not specifically, sir. I only know the distances from the place that they need to run it from, which is where we got the quote.
Are they coming from Brown Mountain Loop Road? Are they coming from Compton Lane?
They're coming from Brown Mountain Loop Road in either case. It wouldn't come from Compton Lane.
Do you understand my question about the financial hardship on adjoining property if a sewer goes in
Yes, sir.
front of them to
Yes, sir.
to help you?
I suppose I could, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
There is no way to put septic on this property. We ran that down first.
I know, but is 513 on a septic?
I don't know exactly. We haven't spoken to the property owners of that, no. But of course, we did have the signs posted, but that's all.
Did I understand your plan was to put 2 dwellings on this property?
Yes, ma'am. What we'd like to do, because the other properties that are also on the street are about half an acre, and this lot, as it stands, is 1.08 acres, we were hoping to just divide it straight in 2 to kind of match the profile of the rest of the neighborhood.
And essentially, it's worthless for building because you cannot put septic on it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Commissioner Beeler? I'm sorry, Commissioner Daley.
It wouldn't perk.
You haven't changed that much.
The property wouldn't perk. Drew, go back to a couple pages if you would. I think 11, if you would for me. Maybe no, I'll go the other way. We'll get there. Keep going, keep going. I got to get there before I can try to explain it. Right there. All right. This is a better map of Brown Loop Road. Your question is, the sewer is 142 foot away. The lot next door is 120 feet, so we add another 20 feet. The only lot would be affected would be the next door lot, or maybe the one across the street. The other way is up there, I think it's 162 feet from the other place up there, so it's wiser to run it along this lot. Brown Mountain Loop has been there for a long time, and it was all built on septic. You got 1, 2 lots that are larger so they could perk. You look at all the other lots there, they're half-acre lots. So it's not out of the character of the neighborhood for it to go to 2, right? It wouldn't be out of the character for the developer to get 2 per acre, then turn around and subdivide it and have 1 house on each other. It will be the same across the street. It will be, and who knows, the person there across the street may have a family member, and they can subdivide it. It's in the growth area. Our sector plan is 11 years old. The South Knox County sector plan has not been updated since 2020. So you can't tell me that that's a good sector plan, because it's not. Things have changed in 11 years. So my suggestion is, and I was out there and we discussed it, and he got the cart before the horse. He should have come, if they would have came to me, I would say, hey, you're going to have to get sewer, because without the sewer, we can't change the sector plan, because that's one of the things that could happen. So they know that they got the cart before the horse. They're invested, and I would like to see that lot developed myself into 2 lots, 1,000 square foot homes, thereabouts, correct? 2,000 square foot homes, which is good family style home. That's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, or mostly. I talked to the law director. This is what I'd like to do. My 7 years, I don't think we've ever done this. So what I would like to do is make a motion, just talking right now, make a motion to approve a sector plan change and a rezoning change to 2 per acre upon proof that they have ran sewer to that property from KUB. So if something was to happen and they don't run sewer there, this property will never be rezoned. So I asked the law director, and he said we could do that.
It's a conditional zone.
Yeah. And he asked me, well, why don't we postpone it for 90 days or whatever? None of us would spend $42,000 of our own money to come back before this commission and try to get 6 votes. I wouldn't do it. I don't think anybody sitting here would do it. So I'm asking you to help this couple out. They're going to build 1,000 square foot home, which is a nice home. It will meet the character of the neighborhood. I've been there, no doubt. It's a wooded area. And you're going to try to save as many trees as possible, right? So I will wait till hear those, but that will be the motion I'll be making, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Daly. Commissioner Beeler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, it definitely makes sense to me, looking at the lot and the other lots beside it. I mean, to me, it's kind of like straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel not to change the sector plan to be able to build 2 houses there. I do want to know about the sewer, though, to Commissioner Schoonmaker's point. Which direction, Commissioner Daly, would the sewer be coming from, left, right, or up?
I will think it would, me personally, the shortest route is the right, coming down Brown Mountain Loop Road.
So you're saying sewer is within 142 feet of that lot? So several of those homes are on sewer?
Yes. The only one that...
They're not on it? It just comes down through there?
I couldn't say that with certainty one way or the other.
Okay, do you know, Commissioner?
I don't know, but can I answer one question?
Yeah, sure.
Just because the sewer line is running in front of your property, it's up to Knox Chapman, KUB, whoever to charge you. They don't necessarily have to charge you. It's up to them.
I'll yield to Commissioner Ward.
I'll try to explain real quick. So the easiest way, and staff, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look at existing land use, you can't upzone unless you have sewer, correct, in this section?
Yes, in the rural area, that's correct.
So if you look at the land use map, anything that's been upzoned has to be on sewer. So deductive reasoning would say sewer is up to next door. And as Commissioner Daly was saying, the lots are 100 and something feet wide. So it's literally, the pipe is a house away. It's probably sitting at the corner of the next lot down the street. But the lot next door has already been upzoned. So that's telling me that the lot next to it, to the right, number 29 on this map, already has sewer because they've already been upzoned. They couldn't be upzoned unless they had sewer. So I don't think it would affect neighbors because to be in that zone already, they would have to have sewer. So deductive reasoning tells me this. Therefore, I don't think any neighbors would be burdened further.
forgive me. So your statement is you think the next door neighbor has,
By deductive reasoning, they have to because their property has already been upzoned from agriculture to whatever it is, SFR. So in order for them to achieve that, they would have to have sewer connection.
Director Snowden, do you have that information?
And obviously, this, I'm looking at KUB's maps. Now, they may be, obviously, they share these maps with us, so I can't attest to them being 100% accurate, but they usually are fairly accurate. The last house on Brown Mountain Loop that has sewer access is 416, so that is, I'm sorry, somebody may need to get the pointer up there. It's the lot that actually, where the city limits are, it kind of wraps around it. We'll need to go up, I'm sorry. Yeah. Right there where you see the city boundary is, it looks like the house that fronts on Mount David Drive, but their address is on Brown Mountain Loop, is where the sewer stops. So the gentleman would have to extend it to the south across those two lots, 416 and 426, if that helps. But the sewer the sewer terminates there at that last house at the corner of Mount David and Brown Mountain Loop based on the GIS maps that KUB has provided us.
42,000.
Sir, has KUB come out and
No, he has to.
physically looked?
We weren't present for that, but it's my understanding that they sent a representative out who did the estimate.
Oh, all right. Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I would not be in favor of rezoning a piece of property that Knox Planning unanimously said to deny what they want to do. But I feel very uncomfortable about forcing residents in that neighborhood to potentially incur financial obligations that when they purchased their home, that wasn't part of the deal. And now just because somebody's wants to go to the end of the street and develop it, I just don't think these folks should be penalized for that. And it looks like on KGIS, the 513 home, it potentially could have been there since 1996. It's kind of hard to tell, but I don't think the sewer was there in 1996. So I would be against this just because I don't think this body should put a financial obligation on the next door neighbors on a monthly basis if in fact they would have to at some point, whether it's tomorrow or 2 years from now, to be part of the sewer connection fee and monthly assessment from whatever utility district.
Commissioner Daly.
Thank you. Mr. Snowden, KUB said they can come from two different directions. One is 160 feet and one is 142 feet. So that means they've got to be sewer on Brown Mountain Loop Road.
Yeah, and like I said, Commissioner, these maps may be wrong. What we're seeing is it terminates there near on the map that they shared with us, Mount David, and then on the, I guess that would be the east side, it goes up just past Define Lane. So what I'm seeing doesn't correlate to those numbers, but however, I mean, obviously their representatives know more than I do, but there may be that their maps haven't been updated.
It's possible. Again, just because sewer is in front of your property does not necessarily mean KUB, Knox Chapman, West Knox, whoever is going to charge. I guarantee you, if this land out there didn't perk, if that didn't perk, the other ones barely perked, okay? I guarantee you, if I'm living in lot 28, 50, 27, all those, I'd be happy to see sewer come through there. Because I know my septic is going to fail after 40 or 50 years. And when it fails, codes, when it fails, there ain't nothing you can do, is it? Just go to the sewer is all you can do. So I would be happy to have sewer there. I believe I believe what KUB says. I know it's expensive, $42,000 or $46,000 coming from the other direction is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me. I'm going to make the motion, okay? I'm going to ask my fellow commissioners to trust me. It will be a viable motion, and you will not be able to do anything with that property until that sewer is there. KUB has the letter. Go back to Amy, Director Brooks, is that correct? After he gets the letter?
One more time.
After the sewer is ran to the property, he can come to you and have it rezoned at that time?
No. Once you all rezone it, it is rezoned until, well, I'm going to defer to Law Director Moyers here.
It's a conditional zone. So if the condition is not met, and until the condition is met, the property remains at its current zoning. Once the condition is met, then the rezoning becomes effective. That's when you can change the map.
And that would be when he goes for a building permit or whatever.
Right, when he shows evidence that the condition has been met.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. This is my motion for the first one. Mr. Law Director, on a appeal, is it yes or no, or can I add this to it? This is
a little pet peeve of mine. It shouldn't be an appeal, but it doesn't matter. For the purposes of what you're trying to do, just a motion to amend the sector plan as your first, a motion to grant the rezoning as the second, both conditioned on the applicant getting sewerage to the property as he's requested.
Okay, this will be my motion then. This is on the sector plan only. Motion to approve the sector plan to RR upon proof from KUB that sewer is available at the property.
Second.
Sector plan only.
All right, we have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Daley. The second was
Ward.
Commissioner Jay. Is there any more discussion on this?
We're both very good-looking men. It's hard to get us, easy to get confused.
Seeing no more discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I apologize.
Take that knife out of my bag.
We have one no. Is that correct? Vote is 10-1 on that one. All right, thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 63, 9-L-23-RZ is the appeal by Edelmary Martinez of the Knoxville, Knox County Planning Commission's denial of a request for rezoning from A agricultural to PR planned residential up to 2 dwelling units per acre. Property is located at 507 Round Mountain Loop Road, parcel ID 124-PA005 in the 9th Commission District.
Thank you. Mr. Henley, your name and county of residence again?
Andrew Henley, Knox County.
Thank you. Is there any opposition? Seeing none, Director Brooks, would you read your recommendation?
Planning Commission recommended to deny the PR planned residential zone because it is not consistent with the South County sector plan, and it would allow development that may be out of character of the surrounding area by a vote of 14-0.
Thank you. And do you have anything else you'd like to add? All right. No, hold on. We still need to vote. Seeing no other lights, Commissioner Daley.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve South County Plan, hold on a second. I'd like to approve up to 2 dwelling units per acre from agricultural to PR upon proof from KUB that the sewer is available at the property.
Second.
All right, we have an appropriate motion on the floor by Daley, a second by Ward. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, I'm sorry, the vote will be 10-1. Your motion carries, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. Do you understand what needs to happen?
I
All
believe
right.
so, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Is there any other business to bring before this body? Yes, sir.
You need to call for that one that wasn't here
Thank you.
one more time, just to make it legal.
Madam Clerk, if you would reread 54, please.
Item number 54, 10-E-23-RZ, request of a step towards home for rezoning for the portion of the parcel zoned I industrial to PR planned residential up to 5 dwelling units per acre, and for the portion of the parcel zoned A agricultural to PR planned residential up to 3.25 dwelling units per acre. Property is located at 7816 Ball Camp Pike, parcel ID 091226 in the 6th Commission District.
Is there anyone here to address that? Seeing no one, it will be moved forward to next month. If the proper notifications would be sent, please. All right, is there any other business to come before this body? Yes, sir, Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Brooks,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Here we keep seeing every month 9-0, 14, 12, 10. Are these planning commissioners not taking their job serious? That, BZA had to come up with a policy of, you missed 2, we're going to find somebody else. So why are these, there's 15, correct?
Correct.
And we only had 9 show up? These are the
Ms. Meehan,
mayor.
yes.
This is probably a mayor's questions.
Yes, I believe that it would be. I think at this particular, it's fairly unusual for us only to have had 9 commissioners. There were a couple of them that were out of town. I'd have to go back and look and see, which ones were excused. So they will let us know in advance and which ones were not.
Does your rules go by majority present or majority of the 15? Do you know?
Majority of the 15.
Majority of the 15, so
We barely had a quorum.
it could have been disaster that day.
Yes.
So I'll talk with Mayor Jacobs. Thank you.
Thank you.
That could have been a disaster.
For your laughing pleasure on your way home before the meeting is adjourned, Drew, if you'd put up my little goodie up there. Seeing no objection, though, we are adjourning this meeting.